Over the last few decades, technology has touched almost every facet of our lives, especially changing how businesses work. GlobalLogic, being a global leader in digital product engineering, has helped brands across the globe engineer a sustainable future.
Our purpose itself is evolving. As we move into the next phase of our journey, it's no longer just economic. We are actually pursuing a triple bottom line now, where it is economic, it's environmental, and it's social. So we become, as we give returns back to our shareholders, how do we make sure we are doing that in a sustainable manner? And that's where our net carbon zero by 2030 mission or aspiration is. And while we grow and do all of these things in a sustainable manner, how do we give back to the society? How do we grow to give? And that's where our social agenda pops in, that we are pursuing heavily with GL Foundation.
Incepted in the year 2000, today GlobalLogic operates in 20 countries across the globe and has over 30,000 employees, helping clients imagine what's possible and accelerate their transition into tomorrow's digital businesses. By using human-centered design practices, superior engineering skills and agile delivery, GlobalLogic has been partnering with businesses across every major industry to make amazing products and connect the dots between people, products and business opportunities.
One of the big things when Hitachi was evaluating GlobalLogic, if you will, one of the big things that popped up was a very similar value system, especially when it comes to the planet, especially when it comes to sustainability and environment and doing social good. I mean, if you're aware, Hitachi has a whole division called the Social Innovation Business Unit that focuses on business and projects like these. So the meeting of the minds on what the ideology of the two firms is was a key part of the whole decision-making process as well, for them as well as for us. So this is very, very core. This is very, very core for all of us here at GL.
The world has gone through a massive developmental change in the last 100 years, which has resulted in elevating businesses and ease of living. But all that has come at the cost of the environment. There is a pressing need to balance growth with sustainability. As a leading global technology conglomerate, GlobalLogic is a firm believer in the triple bottom line business model.
Sustainability and profitability need to go hand in hand. Pursuing profits alone, we are seeing how much of degradation of the environment around us has happened over the last 100 odd years, and it's time that we start to repair that. We are literally at the tipping point of climate impact, and there are geographies where you're starting to feel that more and more. As an example, the Indo-Gangetic plains, which are supposed to be the first ones to get hit in every climate model. So this becomes a prerogative for every business around the globe to make sure that their behavior is responsible, and that starts with your own day-to-day operations. We started taking a look at what can we do differently, each of us as an individual and us as a group of people working together as well. And as we learn more, we are also beginning to collaborate with other peers of ours in the industry to say, what can we impart to them as best practices from our learnings, and what can we take from them and figure out how do we do things differently.
A business should not only be profitable, but also be responsible in terms of the environment, which is why ESG reporting is critical for a rising economy like India.
I believe the ESG mandate, government mandate, is a wonderful thing. You can't optimize what you don't measure. And what the government has started doing is asking, this year it becomes mandatory for the top 1,000 enterprises to report on their environmental and their social aspects of their business. Once you start measuring, I think it's natural human tendency to then try and optimize that. Once companies understand their own environmental footprint and how they are contributing towards deterioration, I believe it's natural human psyche to immediately want to figure out ways and means to correct that.
Sustainability is no longer a tick box exercise, but an environmental, economic and social factor that is impacting every life. Thus, achieving business sustainability goals is now the need of the hour. GlobalLogic is geared towards engineering a sustainable future.
As companies start to measure these things, it's going to start with the easier parts of it, right? How much electricity are we consuming? How much water are we consuming? And so on and so forth. And these are still direct impact measurements. As you go deeper and deeper into the operations of any enterprise, as you start to go into the factory setups, as you start to go into the farming supply chain aspects of raw material that they pick up right from the farms, you would need more and more accurate data and measurements and the ability to optimize things. And that's where companies like GL can help with good solid technology to help understand the indirect aspects of their operations, go down to the last bit of the supply chain, measure, optimize, and then take things forward.
Diversity and inclusion are more than buzzwords in the new age, as people now feel morally obligated towards social concerns. One of the game-changing D&I moves in the recent past were promoting LGBT rights at the workplace, the right of PWDs, and extending maternity leaves to 6 months or more.
So diversity comes very natural to us, given the fact that we are operating in 16 countries already, which means we have, and we have close to 25 nationalities that work together. You can see that with the composition of our leadership team, of our employee workforce. We are a very globally distributed organization.
Inclusiveness is the core of GlobalLogic operations. As a true global company, GlobalLogic has built an inclusive culture where everyone feels important and comfortable being themselves.
Accepting different cultures, different priorities, I would say, or different preferences is something that comes naturally to us. And what we have done is extended that into our operations as well as a specialized, as a focus area as well. Whether it comes to employing members of the LGBTQ community, whether it comes to creating opportunities for young mothers and how easy it is for them to come back into the office, whether it comes to somebody who is differently abled, modifying our workplaces to create avenues for people with physical disabilities or different abilities to come in and be able to work shoulder to shoulder with us, creating lactating rooms for young mothers and creches so that they can be comfortable with their newborn in close proximity. And transgender employees, we have had our first couple of transgender employees join us in the last few quarters, working through all of those aspects. And one big thing we have learned is that we've ourselves learned a few new things about how we need to change our own culture, how do we need to change our own behavior, what sort of different facilities we need to create to be able to make this a very natural environment. It does not need to be, DEI has to stop being special. It has to stop being a special project. It has to become a part of a natural way of how we operate. And that's really what we are working towards now. I think that the speciality or the no-way factor around it, we are beginning to eliminate. It is beginning to become a part of our daily operations now.
DEI, or Diversity, Equity and Inclusion, is a tenet that GlobalLogic holds very close to its heart. And this is what makes GlobalLogic a truly global and diverse organization. As part of Hitachi Group, GlobalLogic is aligned with their 30-30-30 pledge. That is, 30% women in management and workforce by 2030. And the company is already on its way to accomplishing those goals.
We are building an inclusive workplace where everyone feels comfortable just being themselves. Being part of the Hitachi Group, we are aligned to the 30-30-30 pledge, which is to have 30% women in management and in overall workforce by 2030. GL APAC is at 34% gender diversity already. Worldwide, we are more than 30%. But it's a journey. It's something that we are absolutely committed to achieving across all our levels within GlobalLogic.
Meet Asif. Handicapped since his childhood. He is a BTech graduate from a reputed institution and is now employed with GlobalLogic. In the earlier organizations that he worked in, Asif had to face many day-to-day challenges due to non-friendly infrastructure such as elevators, toilets, etc. But at GlobalLogic, he feels happy to come in every day as he believes he got what he deserved and much more.
मुझे कभी ऐसा नहीं लगा कि ये ग्लोबलॉजिक एक कंपनी है और यहाँ पे मैं SME हूँ, मुझे हमेशा ऐसा लगा जैसे इट्स अ लाइक फैमिली। यहाँ का कल्चर, सारे लीड्स, टीम मैनेजर्स सब एज अ फैमिली और फ्रेंड्स की तरह रहते हैं। यहाँ का वर्किंग एटमोसफियर सो मच हैप्पी एंड जॉयफुल है। ऑल्सो आई फील प्राउड दैट के GlobalLogic मेक मी एज ए एग्जाम्पल, बिकॉज मैनी ऑफ माई फ्रेंड्स जो हैंडीकैप फ्रेंड्स थे वो अभी भी जॉब करने से हेजिटेट होते थे, जॉब नहीं करना चाहते थे, या उनको लगता था कि हम कैसे वर्क करेंगे, कैसे सबके साथ compete कर पाएंगे। GlobalLogic मेक मी एग्जाम्पल फॉर देम। तो आई फील प्राउड बिकॉज GlobalLogic की वजह से किसी की हेल्प हो पा रही है जो अपने अंदर कॉन्फिडेंस नहीं ला पा रहे हैं जॉब वगैरह करने के लिए, एजुकेशन होने के बावजूद।
Productivity depends on the environment in which it has been developed, and whatever has been developed within the care of nature is bound to sustain. GlobalLogic is not just nurturing talents like Asif, but also nurturing nature and everything around it. GlobalLogic believes in its core philosophy called Grow to Give, which largely focuses on ensuring environmental sustainability and the conservation of nature.
We do a lot of things at GL, right? We have replaced more than 14,000 plastic pens to paper pens, right? We've replaced plastic bottles with glass bottles across all our offices. We now use biodegradable garbage bags. We don't have plastic stirrers, we have wooden stirrers, we have paper cups and plates used across all our offices. So this has helped us save more than 3,000 kgs of plastic usage across our offices. We also saved more than 500,000 liters of water by using altered nozzles in our washrooms. We increased more than 124 liters of oxygen within our offices by planting about 3,000 indoor plants. Right? Our employees themselves contribute to the innovation piece. They came up with a carpool app so that in their own way they could contribute to the environment by pooling in whenever they were coming to the office.
The employees at GlobalLogic have taken these initiatives to an even greater level and taken many people-led initiatives such as afforestation drives, Earth Hour, Trash to Treasure contest, Flaunt Your Green Space and National Paper Bag Day celebrations to enable carbon neutrality.
We are on a mission to try and get to net zero from our carbon footprint perspective by the end of this decade. That's an aspiration. We are working on creating larger and larger carbon sinks. This year we've already planted close to 40,000 trees that we are using IoT sensors to monitor their health for the first 3 years to make sure those trees are healthy and are taken care of. And our goal is to go north of 100,000 trees in the next few months. Decarbonization for us is a mix of reduction and then absorption. We are also working to try and figure out, can we deploy industrial strength CO2 scrubbers? Can we absorb carbon dioxide from the atmosphere around our offices and do something else in creating different modes of sinking that carbon footprint? And that will become more and more prevalent for businesses as they move forward.
Under the umbrella of GlobalLogic Foundation, the CSR arm of GlobalLogic, the company has been actively involved in activities like afforestation and community green drives to build a sustainable society for everyone.
Under the GL Goes Green initiative, we are committed to creating a better environment for all of us. We are planting trees across India under this initiative, where as of now we've already planted around 40,000 trees. And we are not just planting trees, but we are also going to nurture these saplings for the coming 3 years along with our volunteers and the school kids. These are small efforts that are focused towards building a better community for everyone, and we believe that through our little efforts we're able to give our bit to the society and the communities and create a better environment for everyone.
With the mantra of giving back to communities, GlobalLogic plays a pivotal role in the areas of education and empowerment to support the local communities in which they operate and create a lasting positive impact on the lives around them.
Corporate social responsibility is the heart and soul of GlobalLogic. It is really beyond compliance, wherein we are not just giving funds to the organizations, but we are also very deeply involved in our programs through volunteerism and other activities as well. Our core focus areas are education and environment. When we talk about education, it is basically focusing on providing quality education to children who are coming from disadvantaged communities. And this is done under a program which is Educate to Empower, where we are focusing on bringing the best of quality education for children, whether it is girl child or children who are very good in education.
GlobalLogic partners with schools to provide education to less privileged children. One such initiative was taken in association with Om Foundation.
We are a 20-year-old NGO in the field of education. Last 20 years we've been trying to give quality education to economically disadvantaged children from the urban slums of Noida, catering to close to 20 villages around this place. Some years back we saw that there were a lot of kids who had to drop out of the schools, could not finish their schooling. So that's how GlobalLogic came in. They started a program with us on the afternoons program, wherein we get children who have dropped out of the schools, we bring them back and then also make them job ready, because the focus is clear that they have to be job ready, and we do a lot of work with them on skill development. GlobalLogic, through its volunteering program, help in the personality development. They help in building the infrastructure for these kids. They also help in giving exposure to kids. So with GlobalLogic, the biggest advantage is they are walking the path with us. Year on year they see what we lack, where we need help, give that corporate image, corporate touch to an NGO. That's where they bring in a lot of value.
GlobalLogic, under its #Educate to Empower program, is trying to bring back school dropouts who had to leave their education due to various reasons, including financial. GlobalLogic also provides a holistic learning platform to every child so that they can lead a better life ahead.
We are growing. We are amongst the fastest growing companies in our space. What should be our purpose? What do you do with that growth? And for us, the purpose started to revolve around our people, the society around us, and that's where the grow to give mantra emerged, right? So as we grow to give back to society. We spoke to our entire workforce. This was not a top-down agenda. We spoke to everybody, and people said, we would love to focus on underprivileged children and the environment. Those are the two things that were picked up. Today, more than 6,000 odd children in 5 different cities are supported by GL Foundation. This comes from either making sure that their school fees are taken care of, or making sure that the school has the right infrastructure, or making sure that the teachers are taken care of. Whatever is needed in those foundation schools, we go in and try and take care of every aspect of making sure that these kids continue. And it's not just this sort of economic support. It is also around counseling, picking up kids who might have dropped out and getting them to enroll back into their classes. It's also about creating employability. And I think we have now had a first batch of people who have grown in these GL Foundation schools, finished their graduation, and have started to come into the workforce. And we are now working towards creating an end-to-end program where we say, as these children graduate, how does GL create employment opportunities for them? So yeah, as we continue to grow, we believe we have a wonderful opportunity to give back more and more to the society and make it very, very effective and very purpose-driven in our journey over here.
Businesses cannot be successful when the society around them fails. GlobalLogic stands true to its commitments and value system, whose foundation is built on the philosophy of giving back to society. While they engineer the most bleeding-edge innovations for customers every day, their ambition is to engineer a sustainable future.
We are striving or aspiring to be net neutral, zero carbon, right? And for us, we cannot stop generating a carbon footprint, but we do believe we can create good natural sinkholes for this carbon. Afforestation is a key part. Like I mentioned, we've already done 40,000 trees in the last few months. We are getting to 100,000 in the next few. And we are right now working on figuring out what does our carbon footprint look like between 2023 and 2030, and where do we need to be in 2030 with afforestation as well as synthetic carbon sinks to go carbon neutral. We are measuring that now. We're plotting our trajectory now to be able to figure out what do we need to do over the next 7 years and be a carbon neutral operation. So yeah, it's very interesting, it's very exciting, because it just adds a sense of activity, achievement, action to that purpose of being a very responsible and sustainability oriented business.